Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Rest Easy Expo podcast. It's Holly here, and today I'm joined by Candice Groves, who is the owner of Cellf. Hi Candice, how are you?
I'm well, thanks, Holly. How are you?
I am really well. Now, can you please just start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
No worries. Well, my name is Candice, and I am the founder of Cellf. And our hero product, I would call it, is our infrared PEMF mat. Now, my journey to get to this point to start a business with therapeutic wellness devices comes from my background of being in the health and wellness industry. I have a background in marketing, and I think pretty much throughout my whole adult life, I have been obsessed with health and wellness, but also in the biohacking and longevity space. So I think it goes way back to the days of reading books by David Sinclair on cellular activity and your genetics and how to have longevity in your life and optimize your body and mind to feel your greatest right up until the end. So through that process of me being an avid researcher in this industry, I came across PEMF, which is an acronym for Pulsed Electromagnetic Field Therapy. And when I heard about it originally a few years ago, I was so fascinated. And so I pretty much went down every avenue to learn absolutely everything about it. And it is pretty comprehensive, I guess, at essence, but we can break it down into simple terms. And essentially, I wanted to use it for, which is very fitting, I needed to switch off at night. And the way that PEMF influences your brainwaves really captivated me. And I started using PEMF devices for switching off at night. And then when I realized that there just wasn't enough education in Australia on this therapy and there wasn't any devices locally, it was really, you had to source from overseas, which made it very expensive. I just had a really strong instinct that this was the thing that I needed to do to produce a product that Australians could use at an affordable price. So Cellf was formed. It was in January 2023 we launched. And since then, we have helped customers all across Australia and New Zealand and have been able to help them with their wellness journey.
Wow, that is so cool. And I can hear in your voice like how passionate and excited you are about it. So you're saying that they're these devices, but what exactly are they that you have, this hero product?
So I'll break it down into a few elements. So the mat is called an infrared PEMF mat. Now, you might already be familiar with infrared technology. So we use far infrared in our mats, which is what the sun produces and helps all living organisms. So it's also what you might hear about in saunas. So they use far infrared. And the difference between, say, far infrared saunas and traditional saunas is you are heating the air and then making yourself sweat with a traditional sauna, whereas far infrared heat actually goes to your body and heats you at the core. So that's helping with a lot of cellular processes like circulation and detoxification. So that's one element of our product. The second part is PEMF, which is the most fascinating element in my opinion, because I guess there's not much education around it in Australia. So it's always exciting telling people about it. And basically, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy uses a device to pulse electromagnetic fields passing through your body. So what it does is the electromagnetic fields, we are electric. We have electrical communication processes and our cells have an electrical and a chemical makeup. So you might think of electrolytes and things like that. They help with our cellular energy. And with cellular energy, that helps with all the metabolic processes in our body. So to help with circulation, cognitive function, it just helps our bodies be able to do what they're supposed to do effectively. So when your cells are depleted or they lack the right kind of chemical and electrical makeup, you can be prone to illness or you can just be run down. It could be due to an injury and it could just be an imbalance of things like hormones or nutrients. So PEMF doesn't actually recognize materials like your bones, your flesh. However, when it passes through, because your cells are electric, they recognize the stimulation. And what it does is it helps them to produce their own electromagnetic fields. And based on the frequencies that you use, this helps with numerous things. But ultimately, When your cells are then getting that charge, they are being able to circulate more through your body. They're repelling off one another because they've got the right kind of charge. And ultimately, your cells are now flowing better to be able to deliver oxygen, nutrients, and hormones throughout your body. And that has a cascade of effects. And one in particular, And one thing in particular that a lot of customers use it for is sleep. So the whole element that I just mentioned there about the circulation for everything to move properly, there's also brain entrainment. So we have brain waves and you can monitor them. You go through different stages of different brain waves throughout the day. And at nighttime in your deep sleep, you have delta. So that is your really low frequency brain waves. And that's when you're in a deep sleep, restful. And then you go into different tiers of brain waves when you're in light sleep, when you're awake, when you're highly alert and concentrating, and when you're in a problem solving state. So essentially,
I just feel like there is so much here that we probably don't know. And like you said, this is fascinating.
I know.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
I know. I try to break it down as simply as I can, but there is so much to it. But what brain entrainment does is your brain waves can be influenced by external stimuli. So the frequencies that are produced in PEMF mats or PEMF device, they can cause brain entrainment. So what you can do is, let's say there's various frequencies and intensities of a PEMF device. And if you want to improve your sleep, what you would do is you'd use a frequency that's going to mimic that of your sleep patterns and your brain waves. So you'd want to get into the delta brain waves, and that's around the 1 to 4 hertz. So if you actually have, you don't even necessarily need head contact. It has been known to occur even if other parts of your body are interacting with these frequencies. And what it does is it makes your head get into that same frequency state and promotes sleep. So it can help with your circadian rhythm, helps you to relax, and it pretty much eases you into a really good sleep.
Wow, that is so cool. And so how long have you been actually using the mats for yourself?
It'd be maybe 4 years or so now.
And what are some of the benefits that you're feeling or that you've noticed just from sort of using this on an ongoing process?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, one of my first reasons of using PEMF was because of my sleep. So my brain is constantly buzzing with ideas or just can't switch off, and I needed something to turn me off at night. And so I initially used it so that I could tap in at nighttime. So maybe an hour before bed, I'll lay on my mat, pop it into those low frequencies, and I have a noticeably better sleep. Or I can just fall asleep quicker because I'm not thinking and I'm already yawning on the mat. Sometimes we fall asleep on the mat. And my partner does the same. He'll hop on the mat and he'll fall asleep on it. So we can't even get him to bed because he's already gone. But yeah, so initially it was for sleep, but I'm a generally healthy person, but I always, like I said, love my longevity, love my biohacking modalities. So I use it to boost circulation, and I take a lot of, I'm very, in terms of my nutrition, got a lot of nutrition. I take a lot of minerals from my electrolytes, and I like to boost them around my body. So knowing that I start my day, say 10 minutes on the mat, it's just kickstarting that circulation, and I'm moving everything to where it should be rather than my cells just sitting stagnant. Sometimes if I have an injury, so I train, do weight training at the gym, I'll always make sure that I either before or after recover on my mat. And you can be stretching on it, you can do yoga on it, or you could just lay on it. But I have noticed some injuries or minor injuries, like my ankle. If I have a technique that's a little bit wrong on the day, I have noticed a very quick improvement in that. And PEMF is actually known originally to be able to help with things like arthritis, bones, fractures, and things. So it was originally used to successfully heal fractures in racehorses. And then eventually, so they went from animals and then they started with humans. So it's been around for decades, but, and the studies support a lot of things with human use. So it's very broad. I guess when you're looking at cellular energy, because it works on that level, you have so many things that it can help with.
And it's something like you're using it daily. So how much time or what sort of period of time are you laying on the mat for each day? or do you
So
recommend to people?
yeah, and it really just depends on the person. So if you're like, would you consider yourself healthy, or you've got injuries, or you're unwell, or you've got arthritis or something like that, you might have a different protocol. But for me, I like to use it 10 to 20 minutes in the morning. That's just to help with my circulation and get things moving for the day. Also, at a higher frequency, you can put yourself into a good concentration and alertness level. Then at nighttime, and it is most nights I'll use it, I'll pop on there for maybe 40 to 60 minutes while I'm reading at night or watching TV, and I'll just get into that low frequency to sleep. So not everyone needs it twice a day, but I like to do that. Obviously, I'm obsessed and I know so much about it, so I want to optimize my use with the mat. But once a day, or even when you start using it, you'll know when your body needs it. So even, for example, when people travel, they'll notice when they're feeling jet lagged or just their body is out of sync, because there's a lot of high frequencies getting around you when you're at airports and on planes and things, and your body's out of circadian rhythm as well. So it puts you back into homeostasis and rebalances your equilibrium. So it just overall gives you a sense of groundness. And I guess groundness. It's essentially when you make contact with the earth to receive its electromagnetic fields and get those eons in your body. So it's a very natural, holistic therapy. But now you can have it in technology and devices, because not everyone gets to put their feet barefoot with the ground these days. Like, we're in offices right now. It's pretty difficult.
That's it. And it's something we take for granted too, I think, with feeling like we're so busy all the time, that taking this time out just to give back to your body. And what a great way to be able to sort of bring two worlds together. Like, I love the fact that you say that you're reading a book whilst you're laying on it. So my first initial thought was, oh, well, finding an hour just to do this, but you can sort of habit stack and do things at the same time and get the best benefits out of things.
Yeah, so like I said, you can do lots of different things while you're on it. It's like making contact with the earth. You're making contact with the mat. And yeah, whatever your recreational activity of choice is, at the moment, I'm glued to certain books. So I'm laying on there, and that's my book time as well. But I also have a red light wrap that I put over my face. So I like to stack what I'm doing together, and I use the red light for my skin. I pop that over while I'm laying on the mat, and I just feel like so rejuvenated afterwards. And it's just a really beautiful way to end the day. And yeah, taking time for yourself is so important.
It is. And that's very much, that's obviously what we're trying to promote and show people, that self-care and all the ways that we can do things, they look so different for different ways. Like, for people that are thinking, oh, well, I don't really want to do meditations, this could be something instead that really resonates with them and think, okay, I could really get into that. I love the sound of the biohacking, or I'm really interested in the science there. There's so many different things. I think we get very stuck in, this is what self-care should look like, or this is what rest should look like. And just sometimes when we take things out of the box a little bit, go, actually, there is so many different avenues. So this is really exciting.
There is, yeah. And like, if you aren't someone who meditates or does breath work, if you've got something like this and you have that 20 to an hour to kill, why don't you pop on a meditation or follow a breath work practice? And those things combined are pretty amazing. If I do breath work on the mat, I really feel a huge difference. I mean, breath work itself is incredible, but I feel like combining them is just takes you to a whole new level.
Yeah, wow. So what will you be having at your stall at the expo? Will people get to try them, or they just get to see them? How are you showcasing these products?
Yeah, well, first, I'm so excited to be a part of the expo. It's
Yay!
such a cool thing to come to Brisbane, and I'm glad that I'm only on the Gold Coast, so it's just a quick drive. My partner and I will attend on the day, and we will have the mats there to demo. So we will have a few set up. We've got portable mats which suit chairs, and we've got full body mats which will be on the floor, so they're full length. And we will have a couple of new products as well that we'll be able to share on the day, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, people will be able to try them out, have a look, chat to me, and learn a little bit more about it, because as we've understood, it is a little bit of a new or like foreign territory for people to navigate. So my job is to help educate and for people to get a little taste of the experience.
Amazing. And you are going to be sharing a little bit more as a speaker as well on the day, talking more about those brain frequencies that you've mentioned before in this podcast, but just hopefully going that a little bit deeper for people to get some more juicy information.
Definitely, because there's so much more than the brain waves that that can influence a good night's sleep. So even the way that it helps with your pineal gland to help with your circadian rhythm, and just the way that it relaxes your body, and even the infrared component that I mentioned, when your body is naturally heating and then it stops heating, say like when you turn off the mat, you have the natural phenomenon of your body trying to cool down, and that's a relaxation effect. So we'll go into all of the different ways that it can help. And yeah, it'll be really exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait. So thank you so much for coming up and joining us. We're really, really excited to get to test these mats and yeah, just learn more about it and just be able to share it with Brisbane, and hope that we can help as many people as we can. So thanks again. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we can't wait
Thanks,
to see
Holly.
you in August.
Lovely chatting. I can't wait till August. Bring it on.
Thank you.
No worries.